Hello everyone, in this video we'll discuss about the Porter. Porter governors, these are the modified Watt governors. That means they are of course gravity controlled and they are centrifugal governors with the modification that we have added a dead weight load on the sleeve of the governor. Now, the requirement for modification was there because Watt governors are not sensitive, plus they cannot be used for very high speeds. This we have already discussed in the previous video. So therefore, this dead weight was attached. Now, this dead weight, it has got mass which we denote by capital M. So because of this dead weight, there is additional downward force which is capital Mg on the system, right? There is this additional weight mg on the system. Now what happens because of this additional downward force? It increases the speed of revolution, which rises the balls to the predetermined levels according to the load conditions. The working of the Porter governor is similar to Watt governor. You have got the upper arms, right, pivoted at a point. Then this is the spindle. We have got the lower arms connected to sleeve. The sleeve is connected to bell crank lever, which is connected to throttle valve. So whenever load increases, speed decreases, balls they drop down, right? And the central load also moves down. There are stoppers also, right? It moves down, which in turn opens the throttle valve and the flow of working fluid, which is the fuel, it increases. Vice versa, when load decreases, speed increases, the balls and the central load, it moves up, which in turn closes the throttle valve and reduces the supply of the fuel or the working fluid. Now we'll be doing a derivation to calculate the relationship between the speed and the height of the governor, right? These are the nomenclature that we'll be using. F for centrifugal force, H is for the height of the governor or the sleeve movement. Mass we already know, mass of the ball, small m, capital M, mass of the sleeve, right? And these are the angles theta and beta, which I'll show you in the diagram. The first method is we'll use the moment of forces about instantaneous center, right? So what we have done, you can see the diagram, it is basically a modification of Watt governor. We have added a dead weight, right? And this dead weight is applying a downward force because of its weight, which is mg, capital Mg, right? This is the height of the governor, and we have made a small construction. We have extended the upper arm and this base of the dead weight, and they appear to meet at a point I, which we take as our instantaneous center, and about this point I we'll take the moment of forces. For our convenience, we have given the names certain such as A, B and C, right? We already know the angle theta is the angle between the upper arm and the vertical axis, and angle beta is the angle between the lower arm and the vertical axis. Now, because for derivation, we have taken the left half of the governor. So what happens? This force acting on the dead weight, it becomes mg by 2, capital Mg by 2. Now, why this force is becoming by 2 and what is this factor small f? See, the first thing is because the total weight of this dead load is mg. Because I'm taking half for derivation, it becomes mg by 2. Now this small f is the frictional force. So this frictional force again is for the whole system. So for half of the system, it becomes small f by 2. Now what does this plus and minus denote? It denotes that the value changes in positive and in negative on the basis of movement of the dead load. Now when the dead load moves in the upward direction, frictional force, it is in the downward direction. That means in the direction of weight. So the value becomes mg plus f by 2. And when your dead load is moving downward, the force of friction it acts in the upward direction. So the value becomes mg minus f by 2. The basic concept that the force of friction is acting in the direction opposite to that of the force. So accordingly, we change the values in the formula, right? Now let's come to the derivation. We are taking the moment about the point I. So mr omega square, which is the centrifugal force, into the perpendicular distance, which is small a. This is equal to mg, the perpendicular distance, which is c, plus mg plus minus f upon 2 into this distance, which is c plus b. Now what we have done, we have taken this a to the right hand side, and it will of course come in the denominator. So we have just divided the whole equation by this factor a. Now if you look in this triangle, which is AI, and let's say this is L, right? So if you look in this AIL, now if this angle is theta, the corresponding angles, this angle will also be theta, right? So from here we can take the value tan theta is C upon A, and tan beta. Now if this is beta, alternate angles, this angle will also be beta, right? So from this triangle AL, let this be M. Okay, so M we are already using, so let this be R, right? So ALR. So what happens? Tan beta becomes B upon A. So we have replaced C upon A and B upon A with tan theta and tan beta, right? Now we have introduced a term which is K, and that is tan beta upon tan theta. So we have taken this tan theta common from this equation, from the RHS of the equation. So this becomes tan beta upon tan theta, and we have replaced it with small k, right? Now the same diagram, if you look in this triangle, tan theta is also r upon h. R is the radius of rotation. So we can replace tan theta with r upon h, and rest equation remains the same. You take mr on right hand side of the equation because we are concerned with omega, right? And omega is what? 2 pi n upon 60. You place the values and you multiply the equation by g and divide it by g. It will not make any difference to the equation. So you'll get g upon h, and this whole system remains the same, and this g comes as the denominator, and this m come from here, goes inside the bracket, so it comes out like this. You keep n square on left hand side, and you take all the values on the right hand side, place the value of g, pi, and you get this equation, which is n square is equal to 895 upon h, twice of mass of the ball into g, plus mass of the dead load into g plus minus frictional force, and 1 plus k upon 2 mg. Equation can also be solved by a different method, which is by the resolution of forces method. So the same diagram, same nomenclature, theta, the angle between the upper arm and the vertical axis, beta, angle between the lower arm and the vertical axis, right? Now what we are going to do, we are going to resolve the forces. So firstly, we are resolving the forces at this point P. Now the new term that is introduced in this method is T2. Now because there is weight on this upper arm, so there is tension in this link OA, which is T1, and the tension in link AB is denoted by T2. So when we are resolving the forces at point B, so T2 cos beta, it is equal to weight of this dead load upon 2. Let this equation be capital A. Now at this point A, we are resolving the vertical and the horizontal forces. So when you resolve the vertical forces, T1 cos theta is equal to mg plus T2 cos beta, right? Now, when you're resolving the horizontal forces, one is this mr omega square is equal to T1, this T1 sine theta and T2 sine beta. Now, if you look at this equation, which is equation A, we can also write this T2 as mg upon twice of cos beta. You take this cos beta here, right? So we are replacing T2 with this value in this equation, right? So it becomes T1 sine theta plus mg upon 2 cos beta. Sine beta is equal to mr omega square. You keep T1 sine theta on left hand side and take all the values on the right hand side, and we name this equation C. And we have named this equation B, which was the resolution of vertical forces at point A. Now when we divide both the equations, so T1, it gets cancelled out. What we are left with, tan theta and all these terms. We have not done anything to these terms. We have just copied these terms. Now what am I doing is I'm interchanging the place of these two things, right? So we take tan theta in denominator and we bring this factor on the left hand side. Now in this triangle, what is tan theta? It is r upon h. And we already know that k is tan beta upon tan theta, right? So what we are doing, we are replacing tan theta with r upon h and doing all the calculations. Thank you.